Welcome to Adventures Walking as One, where we will explore what it really looks like to walk in the same direction on the same path as husband and wife.
We are Mark and Carol Schweiger of Walk as One Ministries, and we believe that marriage is the greatest adventure and one worth preparing for.
So, you want to talk about?
We're going to talk about marriage unbroken.
Awesome. I've been anxious for this.
But this is the rebuilt foundation.
Yes.
So this is part 2 of when we had Rick and Roz Barrett.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here. We're going to wrap this up with the positive side of what you went through, because you truly have been broken pieces, but God put it all together, and we want to hear how that all happened. So Rick and Roz, you've been married 45 years.
Correct.
4 years longer than us. And you have 2 grown children, a boy and a girl, and 4 grandchildren.
All boys.
All boys. Bless you. And your marriage, you started dating at a very early age. You got married when you were 20. Both of you were 20?
Yep.
Okay. And you discovered quickly that this is not what you thought it was going to be, right?
It's a lot harder to live with somebody.
Yes, it's harder to live with somebody else. You said yourself. But it wasn't all marital bliss, as we said the last time. So give us a quick summary of your brokenness so people can get caught up, and then we're going to take a shift.
Sure. You want to summarize? You do that so well.
Okay, so we started dating really young, and then we got in junior high, and then we got engaged at 19 and married at 20 and had our son at 21, and boy, life was rolling. But we also had a lot of childhood wounds, and because of those wounds, there were lies that we had believed about ourselves, and when our needs weren't met, we developed these lies, which is common, and yet the dysfunction that started to surface in those years started to set us on a course of cycling into toxic emotions. And whether it was through passivity and abdicating or silence and anger, we had quite an ugly cycle going on. So we hit a crisis when we hit the stage of empty nest, because now we had a lot of baggage to claim.
Now you knew a little bit before that, right? That things just weren't right. Or did it all just hit at empty nest?
We knew things weren't right. There were definite patterns that we had experienced. And we really were reading. I'm a reader. I was reading many books. There were so many facets of what, I was reading books on parenting. I was reading books on marriage. I was reading books on emotions. I was taking classes in these areas. But there still was this untouched area that we struggled with.
She struggled with it. I was fine. Right? Like most men, completely oblivious that anything is wrong. Right?
Isn't that about right?
This is true.
Well, and I don't want to digress too much, but I mean, as guys, we're not supposed to be emotional. I mean, we're not supposed to.
That's what we're taught.
Yeah. And so, we toe the line and we get things done, and that's all that's important. And so it's a kind of a shocking wake-up call when you actually figure out that you're supposed to talk to your wife.
And participate in life.
And participate, yeah.
But Rick, your brokenness was so deep, right? And you had mentioned before it stemmed really from your stepdad.
Yeah.
Right? And give us a little brief on that so we can come up to the current.
So there was a lot of abuse growing up. There was emotional abuse. There was physical abuse. There was neglect in there as well. There was no relationship with my parents at all, really. And that formed a lot of the survival mechanisms that I lived in, right? When there's trauma in your life, your brain has to figure out how to survive. And I learned how to survive. And part of survival was do not experience emotions. If you're not emotional, people cannot hurt you, right? And part of that survival mode was being passive. If I don't get angry, I'm fine. No one can accuse me of being the bad guy in the marriage if I'm peaceful, calm, and steady all the time, right? But that's also silence and not involved in life, like we were saying. So, yeah, I mean, anytime you come out of childhood, you have baggage.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we realized is my wounds were very visible. They were very, you could see. You know, when you hear my story, it's like, okay, I can see why you're so damaged. Roz's wounds were more invisible. They were more emotional. They were more neglect, and the harshness was visible, but a lot of her wounds were not visible, so it's harder to see. So when we started counseling, the counselors would be attracted to my visible trauma and kind of ignore her invisible trauma, and that made things even worse.
Mm-hmm. Right, when you're trying to get help and you're being sort of misdiagnosed. And honestly, if some of Rick's story has made grown men cry when they listen to it, I understand that. But then my wounds also needed attention and healing, and they ended up being misdiagnosed.
Dismissed,
Yeah.
right? That's the word I keep hearing is
Yeah.
dismissed.
Yeah.
You know, that it didn't matter.
Right, and,
Right.
and that I just wanted attention. And that was such an oversimplification that doesn't even really make it.
So that's, I was going to say that, I mean, that paints a pretty good picture.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get out of all this?
God. So we had mentioned the Rocky and Adrian story coming out of the last episode, and we really identified with both of their personalities, right? Rocky was very uncultured. He was a survivor. He didn't really have the emotions, and he was investing in his own physical strength. That was his whole life angle, right? Mm-hmm. While Adrian was very introverted. She had a very angry brother that she was living with who would treat her poorly, and that's kind of how Roz's dad was with her. So that was really our starting point, was that story. And they grew.
So when you saw the movie, you were kind of like, oh, wait a minute, is that us?
Yeah.
I even had a turtle when I was a child, so yeah. We were in crisis mode, and our marriage was imploding. Empty nest had hit. And right about this time, we sold our empty nest, and we moved into an apartment, and Rick promptly got sent to work out of state in Texas for a year. That was a saving grace for our marriage because it was so volatile emotionally between us. It was good that we only saw each other twice a month. And occasionally I would go out there and visit him, maybe twice out of the whole year. And it was funny because this was significant because women will ask me, so how do you get your husband to want help? Okay, this is a big question. And so we had gotten to this place where our marriage was imploding, and I went out to visit Rick, and he was staying in a hotel that was a suite, and I had come in, and he welcomed me by giving me a drawer for my clothes, and the drawer he showed me was the bottom drawer, and he told me he had taken all his dirty clothes out of it and made room for me.
So kind of you, right?
We already talked about this. It's okay. And so that specialness that I felt, or lack thereof, was really a big deal because it was truth. And that was the target, the mark that God started using for Rick. I had to be honest. I had to tell him things that were really, really hard to tell him. That hurt me when I felt so thought less of, to not feel special to him, to, maybe put me up a few drawers or, or
Give
something.
me a clean drawer.
And those were like, hard things for him to hear. We had also, in between our move, we had lived with some friends for just 3 months. But during that time, they would tell me things of, wow, that's really, we don't know how you're doing that, the way he communicates with you. And so I was brave and told Rick the truth. And these are hard parts. Now, he had the choice right then. He either could resist all of that and be prideful, or he could choose humility and accept it. And that is the key to his heart. That one of the reasons that I really fell in love with him again was he opened his heart up to Jesus and started letting that truth in. And I'm saying it in a way that's pretty palatable right now, but honestly, it was really hard stuff. And he took the challenge of looking at these issues and anting up to the disconnect that we had going on.
I got a whole lot of questions, but I'm going to leave you guys to talk a little bit. But so, I mean, you had to ask the hard questions, you said. But what made you do that? I mean, you just all of a sudden realized that, okay, I have to be honest with this guy? Or was it something that you had read that...
Well, that question that Jesus asked me that we talked about, Raz, what do you want? And I said, wholeness. That answer sort of put us on a Holy Spirit course and track of starting to deal with the truth, because he is a lover of truth. And the only way through these disconnects was going to be dealing with the truth in love. And that's how God started dealing with us. So that was part of it in the journey. And there were more significant pieces that come up with the next step of what he gave us.
Okay.
Yeah, and during that time, I was praying and seeking God because I knew that we weren't in a good place, right? And the question that I got was, do you want a better life? Do you want it to be better? Something has to change. That was the point that I had to surrender.
So that was, I mean, both of you took a very hard step at that point.
Yes.
And so that, I mean, was that really, it sounds like the turning point, right? For
my strength was pride. I felt really good about who I was, how I did things, right? My own view of myself was very prideful. And God jumped on that and explained to me, you can live there or you can live where I want you to be. And it took a lot of humility to receive that and receive the truths that were coming from Roz of how she was experiencing my pride. So yeah, that was a turning point. It was a surrender.
And all this happened somewhere in Texas, right?
Yeah.
2013, come Valentine's Day, while he was in Texas, I got a text message to take a 14-day Valentine's Day challenge on February 1st. I got it. And it was from a ministry I had never heard of. And it ended up on my phone thread. And I started to take this challenge the first couple of days, and I blew it off. And then the Holy Spirit told me, Mark 4:24, and he said to me, Raz, the measure of thought and attention and study that you give to this is going to be what you receive out of this. And I felt very convicted. And so I went back, and because the hard part for me was I needed to decide if I was going to face Rick with an open heart and give him another chance. So I reapproached the challenge, and I started to gain life. And so when Rick came back into town, I said, Rick, I just got this 14-day challenge. The ministry was Danny Silk's ministry, and it was from his book, Keeping Your Love On. And so I got the book, and the rest is history, because that book we used in leading multiple marriage groups for a few years, and it's very tattered. But that was the measure of attention that we kept gleaning, and the understanding of things we struggled with for years, principles that were astounding to us, that got us out of these toxic patterns and ways of relating that we didn't have a clue. And it was like, wow, these are precious truths.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started applying the truth.
Good. Rick, when you started that, or when she introduced that to you, were you semi-resistant, or were you like, I got to do this?
At that point, I knew I needed help,
Yeah.
right? I was clear that something had to change or we were done.
Mm-hmm.
So I was open to whatever help we could get. And so we did the 14-day challenge, and that was interesting because every day it was action things to do. Write, 10 things you like about your wife, 10 good memories. It was like action to focus you on the good things, right? And it was difficult because we had struggled so much, right? But it made me start seeing Roz in a different way. And then with Danny Silk, right, he starts out, his whole thing was, what is the goal of your marriage? Right? And that's where we learned the safe distance. We had no idea we were in safe distance. But he explains, to the couple that he's kind of giving an example in the book, you're in safe distance. If you want to stay there, I can't help you. Right? We learned the phrase, I choose you. So we started using that phrase constantly. I choose you, which means I'm not choosing me, right? I'm focusing my attention on you. Roz is focusing her attention on me. It changed the dynamic of how we related. And then through that book, there's several communication tools that we had no clue. And just starting to do those. So we didn't just read the book. We opened the book, we read through it, and we actually did all the exercises and practiced. It had to change.
Yeah.
So.
That is a powerful book.
Yes.
I've done it myself, and very powerful. Whether you're married or you're not married, just relating with people in general, being a powerful person, boundaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
it's
I
not
use
a
that at
big
work.
book.
No, it's not huge. It's very weighty though.
It is.
I use it in a lot of my relationships outside of our marriage. It saved our marriage, but it makes a difference at work, in my relationship with other people.
Yeah.
Just being able to relate in a different way.
Yeah.
Right.
We use it with marriage basics and instructing, especially during communication. It has so many great tools in it.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's good.
And really, that was the implementation of the verse that Roz had, because you put into your relationship, you intentionally did things to bring yourselves back together. So you did the work.
Yes.
And I'm assuming now that you've done the work that things are much better.
They are much better. Not
Right.
perfect,
But yeah.
but good enough.
Yeah.
We still had one more hurdle.
Yes.
Okay.
And that hurdle was important because I was still protesting because Rick still had a victim mentality. And that was a piece of rotten fruit that really needed to get eradicated out of our marriage.
Okay.
So we had been introduced to a couple, and their names are Johnny and Pete Duffield. And so they have significantly ministered into our lives. Rick sees Johnny. He's been seeing him for...
I've been seeing him for about a little over 3 years.
Are they marriage counselors or
They are marriage coaches.
coaches?
They are in Colorado.
Yes.
So everything, we deal with them on the phone or online, obviously. We also took a
Marriage intensive.
marriage intensive from them that was 6 months, 5 months. It was very long, very intense, a lot of work, a lot of videos, And they tie together the brain functions and physiology and emotions, right? So they put in the science behind just the stuff that's your body's reacting to and bring that understanding, which helped a lot.
And they're very grace-centered. Their course was called Marriage for Humans, and they have a beautiful way of also taking the God part of our stories and integrating it with attachments and understanding how, because I was very fear-based, how that worked with Rick's avoiding those emotions, but the key part of that was that our secure attachment is with Jesus. He's secure. His love is perfect, and we attach with him and with his perfect love, and that gets rid of the fear, and that gives you courage. And so that was really a significant introduction and connection with them that brought another layer of healing that was phenomenal.
Yeah, I think I want to point out that it wasn't just a decision that we decided that, hey, we're going to change and be better people and our marriage will get better, right? There was a lot of personal healing that was needed, especially on my end. Because of so much trauma, I spent weeks and weeks. I would talk to Johnny for an hour. He would give me homework. Every night I would work on, he in the beginning, we dealt with each trauma in my childhood. And he would say, I want you to spend time this week and just start remembering things and see what Jesus brings to your remembrance. And then when I got back together, we would walk through those and he would dissect them and insert Jesus into it and bring the healing that was needed. If I didn't go through the healing process, we would not be where we are. We would be better off than we were because we changed the way we were moving, but it was that personal, deep healing that had to occur to get rid of the pride, to get rid of the victim mentality, which I mentioned earlier was the hardest thing for me to get rid of because that was where I got my love.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that Roz does love me, and if I just let her love me, then I can get my love from her. And that was difficult because, like I said early, I learned to survive and not trust anyone else. So looking for love specifically from Roz meant I had to trust her. And that was a big adjustment.
And give her permission.
And admit needs, which I learned not to do. If you don't need anything, people can't hurt you by not giving you what you need, right?
That's a good point. And I would say I probably fail in that area of expressing what I need. Expressing it adequately because it might come out more forceful than what I really feel. It's probably a frustration rather than, if I could just express what I need, then he would be able to receive it a lot better.
Yeah.
But because I wait till I'm really frustrated and then it comes out like, I need this.
And I'm looking up from the floor.
Yeah.
But I have to catch myself, that I'm not realizing I'm not expressing what I really need. And the thought of, what do you really need? Sometimes I don't know what that is, right?
Yeah.
And that's being honest with yourself, and for myself, it's being honest, what do I really need here? And then articulate that and not be afraid that he's not going to hear it or he's not going to receive it to be able to provide it, right?
Right.
Some needs are so basic, and they get wrapped up in the complicated moment. But it's like, I need to feel safe.
Yes.
If we're driving, and Rick is driving us somewhere, and I'm tired, my defenses are really on point because I'm tired and I feel like I have to protect myself. And if he's driving faster than what I feel safe in, he doesn't know that. I have to articulate it and say, I'm really tired right now and I really need you to slow down. I am not feeling safe. I need to feel safe. And really now, because we connect and our motive is different for connection, to stay connected. He's choosing me. He's like, no problem, we can do that. But I had to learn how to identify what I needed instead of it being an argument.
And one of the things I had to learn, and I had to say this over and over and over until it became real, is when Roz had a need and she was anywhere emotional about it, I felt attacked. So one of the things that Johnny taught me was, you got to tell yourself, I'm not under attack here, right? This is going to be okay. I will get through this. And I had to do that until it became real. I had to practice reassuring myself that it's okay. I'm not under attack. I don't need to run and hide and shut down, right? And part of what they were teaching us, and you can go into the little girl, was to heal the child that's wounded in ourself, to reparent our child, inner child, which I thought was really whacked out when I first heard that. I'm like, we can go around this. Let's get with the rest of it. I'm okay with everything else. That sounds kind of weird. But I was praying about it, and Jesus explained that to me, how those wounds are embedded in our memory.
Yeah.
And that's really what we're getting into, is healing that memory so that we're not being triggered, right? Because trauma becomes an event once it's healed.
Right.
And even though those events, as we go through, like preparing for this, I got very emotional, and I was, crying a lot just reading it and preparing. And I realized I'm still sad about all that stuff.
Wow.
But it's okay. It's okay to be sad. It's not trauma anymore, though.
It's kind of a form of grief, right?
Yes.
And grief takes a process to get through, but it's okay, and then you come out on the other end. The main thing is you come out healed.
Right.
Yes.
And that's the biggest thing. And so now, if you don't mind me segueing into this, but you're helping other couples. And so your ministry is called Marriage Unbroken, which I absolutely love that, because you've come out of the brokenness, and maybe there's still parts of it there, and we're all crackpots, but you come out on the other end of it of, okay, I can deal with this still, I can heal this way, I know what I need to do, but I can identify things in other people that they need healing, and I can help them, right?
Yes.
So do you want to share a little bit about, what do you want to say about that?
We like the hard cases, I guess, because we had patterns of dysfunction, and the part that was significant is that Jesus didn't condemn us. And he healed us, and he was like, bring me your broken pieces. And he picked up all the leftover broken pieces and saved them. He doesn't we're not throwaways. Yeah. And those places aren't too hard for him, where our parents failed us, and we failed our kids, in places. But his love is so redemptive. So we love to be able to be with couples and build a trust atmosphere. And so we worked with 3 other couples besides ourselves, and over 6 years. And it was really sweet because we had a good bond of trust built up, and we learned from one another. And that was a very healthy dynamic.
So it's long term. It's not like, oh, sure, we'll coach you one time and then you're going to be fixed.
Right. Usually it's like we have to go back to square one with like where Rick was, if we have to introduce you to the truth about yourself. Yeah. And that couple will then face, okay, you're either going to want to walk this journey and apply your heart to this, and you have to trust us in this process too, because we've done this now, so we can give you some pointers. Right. But it's love-based, so we really want to encourage couples that there's hope.
There's hope, and I love that out of all this, because you're helping people to see that there are things that are wrong with us that can be fixed. And so if you're wondering, okay, what am I going to do? I don't know. Something is broke, but I don't know. There are ways to find out what those things are, which is huge, because there's no instruction manual.
No.
When we get married, and even for ourselves, in a lot of cases, to understand all these things. So I think that your message of hope is great, and it really today in our podcast culture and our phones and all this stuff, it's needed for people to hear that.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you for sharing, being transparent, and just really showing your heart for even how you've overcome. So many people need to hear that.
Yeah.
Maybe
several women have asked Roz through this last few years, what did it take for your husband to make a decision to change? And I pondered that, and I've asked a couple men that. They don't know, right? I mean, we've counseled them for years, and they're not sure. For me, it was, I need something different. I'm not happy with where I'm at, right? But the humility that has to come into a man in general to realize that I'm part of this problem, because a lot of men just figure that the wife is broken or she's crazy, and if I can get her fixed, my life will be good. But it doesn't work that way, right? We all have broken pieces, and we all have to get to the part where we're healed and whole. And then we can treat other people the way God meant us to treat them, and they will treat us back that way.
That's awesome. That's perfect.
It is. And usually it's two. When two come together, you both have problems or misunderstandings. And so we do need to find out what these things are. I think Danny Silk, the reference that you gave for, I forgot their names now.
Johnny and Pete Duffield.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't say that second name, but
Yeah.
Well, do you have a broken, dysfunctional marriage? Maybe you have broken parts like all of us do. We want to invite you to go to walkasone.net, reach out to us, connect at waoministries.com, ask us to reach out to Rick and Roz, and we'll give you reference for that. We will provide information on the website for you. But we want you to reach out. We want to see you healed. We want to see your wholeness. And let us know how this podcast has affected you and benefited you.
So we hope you've enjoyed this episode of Adventures Walking as One. We heard Rick and Roz share their testimony, their healing, that there is hope. So don't give up. In our next episode, we saw Rick and Roz do things intentionally to save their marriage. So we're going to talk about, this is hard to say, purposeful rhythms of intentionality.
Say that twice.
No, I can't do that again. But I love the title, so but I had to read it still.
You do love that title,
yeah.
And it's going to be good. So stay tuned. Thank you for joining us. Discover meaningful tips and simple ways to build a stronger, healthier marriage with Marriage Basics. Please subscribe and share this with a friend. Visit our website at walkasone.net.
Thank you for listening to a WBRW TV produced podcast in Washington Township, Michigan. Our podcast can be found on Spotify, and our video programming can be watched on WBRWTV.com or on our broadcast channels in Washington, Bruce, and Romeo on Comcast and AT&T. If you're interested in using our podcast space or have any ideas of your own for a podcast, reach out to us now at WBRWpodcast@gmail.com. For more information on our organization, our content, or how you can get involved, visit WBRWTV.com. The opinions, findings, conclusions, or recommendations expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect the views of the Charter Township of Washington, Michigan Community Media, or WBRW-TV.